Hey there guys, welcome back to a brand new magical and mystical Flick Pick live show. This is it, don't get scared now. By the way, check out the cool t-shirt. How are you guys doing? Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I was a little bit bored, I had a few hours to spare because tonight at midnight I am seeing Venom, I was going to say Vintage. What is Vintage? I don't know, the Yui Ball spin-off series of Venom. It's the cheap $5 Walmart bin version of Venom. Either way, I am seeing Venom tonight at midnight. Do I think it'll be good? Yeah, we'll see. But nevertheless, I am seeing it tonight. How are you guys doing? And real quick, a quick update before we dive into your questions. I did post a brand new exclusive Flick trip for YouTube members and Patreon supporters. It's a special Flick trip. It's like a bonus perk I do for Patreon and YouTube members. And what do I do in that new Flick trip? Well, I go to Best Buy. I realize that movies or physical media are dying in front of our eyes. And I also buy a new mouse because my other mouse was a piece of shit. So I buy this and it's a good time. So yeah, if you guys are YouTube members or Patreon supporters, definitely go check the feeds over there, the community tab or the Patreon feed, and watch that new Flick Trip video. But with all that said, let's dive into your questions now because I'm excited. I'm all hopped up and ready to go. Okay, the first one comes from Winners F the Prom Queen. Indeed, they do, sir. Winners go home and F the prom queen. Pitch an office spinoff. Pitch an office spinoff. Well, it seems like there's been a few of those. Wasn't there one that took place in like a supermarket, sort of like a Walmart? I saw like one episode of it and I was like, I couldn't even look at it. It made me want to just vomit. For me, I always thought there was an opportunity to do something with like pizza delivery. Now, 30 minutes or less, I really enjoyed the opening like 8 minutes to that movie. And then when it started to get into the actual premise of the movie, I was like, I don't care. But I would like to see just like a comedy series about like a pizza delivery driver and all the adventures and exploits he goes on, because that was my life for a couple of years, actually like 4 years. And there were some great things the adventures and the stories and the comedic things you could have happen. Like you could have repeat characters in that spin-off series that always order, and people in real life do. Like there was one guy that ordered every day. He always ordered like a personal pan pizza, a salad, a 2-liter of root beer, and like something else. And like I'd go to his house every day, and he was weird. He never left his house. As soon as he opened the door, I'd get like a whiff of like a dead body that's been floating in a river for 3 weeks. But nevertheless, good guy, and he tipped very well. But I'm curious whatever happened to him. But yeah, that would be my Office spin-off idea. I don't know. I'd like to see it. The next one comes from Mr. 47. All right, just rewatched Shawshank in 4K, and damn does it hold up. Almost looks like it was shot today. 30 years from now, it'll still be relevant. That's what defines a film as a classic. I completely agree with you. There's some films that are just timeless. In 50 to 100 years, they will still be exactly how they should have been made. Like when you watch The Shawshank Redemption, never once when I watch that film do I think, oh, that should have been maybe done a little bit differently. Or maybe that performance could have been tweaked. Or maybe that shot could have been slightly different. It's almost perfection. Every shot, every performance, the screenplay, just every little nuance that movie has. It's just so perfectly paced and timed, and it never gets old. Now, I'll be honest with you. I do have the 4K. I did a 4K unboxing of the Shawshank a few weeks ago on a previous live show. And I have not got around to watching it yet on 4K because it's one of those movies I'm sort of like savoring the flavor. Like I want to wait for a rainy day. I'm going to get a frozen pizza. I'm going to covet the movie. I'm going to hold it. I'm going to sniff it. I'm going to do a Morgan Freeman impression as I make my pizza as the oven's preheating. And then I'm going to slowly put the optical disc into the 4K player. I'm going to lay on my couch. I'm going to make sure everything is in the right place. I'm going to make sure the sisters aren't behind me. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to immerse myself into that movie. So I'm just sort of like waiting for that perfect day to rewatch Shawshank on 4K. Now, typically I watch the movie like once a year whenever it's on whatever streaming service, but I'm really savoring the flavor of that 4K. So yeah, man, I completely agree with everything you said on that. The next one also comes from Mr. 47. Also, highly recommend Squid Game on Netflix. Instant binge watch from the first episode. Squid Game? I have no clue what that is. That sounds like a weird anime thing that you'd find on the internet at 3 o'clock in the morning. Squid Game. how many tentacles can you put there? Okay. Squid Game. Okay, I'll look into that. Squid Game. Well, thank you for the questions, man. Squid Game. All right. Now I have to know what this is. I'm sorry. I just got to know what it is. Hang on. Squid Game. Okay. Squid Game is a South Korean survival drama television series written and directed by... All right, okay, I did hear something about this. The fact that it's a South Korean produced series, that instantly just intrigues me. I assumed it would be like South Korean or something with the word Squid Game in it, but South Korea is not afraid, like Hollywood is nowadays. They will take a chance, they will take a risk. They're not afraid to offend people, and that's why I appreciate South Korean films more than anything right now in life. Okay, yes, that right there sold me. I'm going to watch it. That will be the next thing I probably watch on Netflix. Thank you for that recommendation. I needed that in my life. The next one comes from Impressive Tony. Dr. Flick, I just started reviewing movies and would love to see a vid on your process / camera settings, editing, etc. Any chance of that happening? I have a few videos lingering about on YouTube from the past where I sort of talk about my setup and the way I do things, but it's always changing. But yeah, I actually do want to make one of those. I wanted to do sort of like an office tour, and I guess in that video I could sort of talk about the process of making videos and things like that. But real quick, I will give you a quick synopsis of how I do it. Let's just say we're gonna do a movie review, because I do have to do one probably late tonight, early tomorrow morning for Venom. Let there be carnage. Let there be Woody Harrelson. And so what I typically do is I'll come back from the movie. I'll really, on the drive home after seeing a movie, I think about it. Like, I sit there and I think about what I want to say, how I want to opening it. And my thing is, the one hurdle I always try to get over when making a video is I want to have like an opening line that's like funny, comedic, but informative. And as soon as I get that, then I can dive into the video. But usually what I do is I write like some bullet points down, like 10 bullet points about the movie I want to get to. But usually, like, when it comes to lighting and everything, once you have your setup initially done, which is the most difficult part of like making videos, but once you get all that ready to go, like your camera, your lighting, then you can just sit down and do it. And then editing always sucks. I don't care what anyone says. It's the bane of my existence. And people always say, John, why don't you have someone edit your videos? The thing is, if I had to have someone edit my videos, it would take me 10 times longer to explain exactly what I want them to do rather than just do it myself. So that's the detriment with editing. Usually with my camera, I use a Sony a6400. I love this camera. I used to use a Canon, and it's got pretty good image quality, but for video, I just think Sony looks sharper, crisper. And when it comes to the video settings, the Sony a6400 has a great autofocus feature that tracks your face. So your face will always be in focus no matter what you do. And that's great. And I'll tell you why. For many years, I used to do manual focus. And I would recommend manual focus if you're going to film like a short film or something along those lines. But I would notice there were so many times where I'd go to shoot a video and I was tired and I just kind of like... it was a hair out of focus, and then I had to reshoot the entire video. So that really helps. And I use 2 LED. Actually, I have multiple LED flat panel lights that I use, and I recommend those because they don't give off any heat. And in the early days of YouTube, I would use normal light bulbs to light my stuff. And if you turn on like 8 lights in one small room and you're talking, you start profusely sweating. So it's like sitting in a sauna after 20 minutes. And I thank God for LED technology. It's helped really stop my sweaty disco bulb face from glimmering in the camera. So either way, if you want a closer look at some of the stuff I use in videos, like the lights, the camera, stuff like that, the microphone, there's a link in probably all my new videos. It says stuff I use to make videos or stuff I use. It goes to Amazon. So if you want to see like the camera, the lights, and get an idea from there. But then, yeah, after I shoot the videos, I throw them into the computer and start editing away. And it just feels like a never-ending process. But yeah, I hope I sort of answered your question there, man. All right. You guys are already killing it with the question, so I'm going to try to catch up here. And by the way, I'm going to do probably an hour live show tonight because at midnight I do have to go see Venom 2. So yeah, about an hour from now we'll wrap up the live show. But don't worry, we got plenty of time together. So enjoy those salty, delicious snacks and that cold beverage. And we're going to keep answering some movie questions here. Night King 01 says, John, I'm hearing good things about No Time to Die. No fears of Daniel Craig being sidelined and put to rest. He's center stage? Yes. You added about 8 E's and 7 S's, and I like that, and I'll tell you why. So yeah, before anyone asks, I have not seen No Time to Die. It's everyone that's seen it is getting early press screenings. It doesn't come out for another week and a half or 2 weeks or a week or whatever. I will see it like maybe a day before it officially comes out. I have not seen it yet. In my town I live, I don't have press screenings here, and I just didn't feel like driving 3 hours to see one. So yes, I am jealous of everyone who got to see it early. I hate all of you. And with all that said, I wish I could have seen it early, but I have not yet. Really looking forward to it. So as soon as I see it, I will do a review, and I'm looking forward to it. I've heard good things as well. Tyler Vaughn, thanks for the super chat. No question, but thanks, Tyler. Claudia Rogajan, apparently post-credit scene is insane. Are we talking about Venom, or are we talking about No Time to Die? I have a theory on the post-credit scene for Venom 2. If I had to guess, I could kind of guess where it's going. But nevertheless, yeah, no spoilers. But yeah, I'm hoping it's something good. I'm just hoping the movie's slightly better than the previous one. I was not a fan of the first Venom movie. I thought it was just the most bland, forgettable movie made. And the CG just did not look good. Like a turd in the wind. All right, the next one. Beach Bum 0331. Squid Game. Sub, not dub. I know, man. I try to aim for the subtitled version, but sometimes, now hear me out for a second. Sometimes the dubbed version is slightly enjoyable. I'm just going to put that out there. I actually sort of liked the dubbed version of Old Boy. And I'll tell you why. Something about the main character's voice sounded like Adam West. I am Adam West. Like something, I don't know why, I just enjoyed it. So, but either, I probably would watch it the first time with the subtitles. But sometimes the dub's entertaining. All right, the next one, DJ Run 01. Can you do a Morgan Freeman impression as a pizza delivery driver? Jeez, is this what you want from me? For $1.50, I guess I can. Thank you for calling Papa John's. Would you like a large, a medium? 3 toppings for $10.99. All right, that's all I have. Here's your pizza. Get busy eating or get busy dying. All right, my name is Papa John. That's all I have. All right, the next one, the Saint 2332. When are you seeing 007? It's tough not watching the YouTube reviews for it. I don't want any expectations before I see it. Yeah, you and me both, man. Yeah, I just, like I said, I don't get to see it until maybe like a day or two before it officially comes out. Looking forward to it. I will not watch any reviews until I see the movie. That's typically what I always do, unless it's a movie I don't really give a shit about. But if it's a movie I do want to see, I do not watch reviews for it ahead of time. I don't want to hear anything. So, yeah, I'm not watching anything for it. So, can't wait. Carter Lovejoy. What movies are you excited to binge this Halloween season? My favorite to watch every year are Scream 1996, Halloween 1978, The Shining, The Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown, and Hocus Pocus. You are a man after my heart. Yeah, when I want to scream louder than ever, I like to watch Sarah Jessica Parker being a witch in Hocus Pocus. Take that how you will. But yeah, Hocus Pocus is always a holiday classic for me. I think Hocus Pocus is sort of like my Home Alone. Home Alone to Christmas is what Hocus Pocus is to Halloween. But I always go out of my way to watch Halloween 78. Last Halloween I watched Halloween 2, and I could go without watching it. I could probably watch one of the Nightmare on Elm Street films. I'd probably rewatch Dream Warriors. It's been a few years since I've seen it. I think that overall is the best Nightmare on Elm Street film. So yeah, those are a few that I'm gonna watch. I'm trying to think. I like the I like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake. It's always fun to watch that with someone who hasn't seen it yet, and I think it's a damn good remake. If you want to look at horror film remakes, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake from what 2000 is it 2003? That's one of the best ever made. That and The Ring, which was 2001, 2. So yeah, those are a few I'm definitely gonna watch. Thanks for the question, Carter. Josh Coffee. If you smell what the flick pick is cooking, how was a WWE pay-per-view over the weekend? WWE Extreme Rules, sponsored by Skittles. Yeah, so I went to see WWE Extreme Rules in Columbus, Ohio, Sunday. And I like wrestling. I like the spectacle, the theatrical. I like the pyrotechnics and the music and the live-action stunt work. So WWE Extreme Rules actually wasn't that bad of a pay-per-view. Now, could it have used more extreme style matches? Yes. I will say the final match I really enjoyed between Finn Balor and Roman Reigns. I thought it was good. They went through tables, they hit each other with chairs. There was some weird hokey stuff that happened towards the end of it, but I enjoyed it nevertheless. And they did have pyro at this show, and that just makes it immensely better when there's like pyrotechnics blowing off in your face. I mean, it just makes it so much more enjoyable. I enjoyed it. I also enjoyed the Becky Lynch Bianca Belair match. And I thought that was surprisingly better than I thought it would be. So, yeah, there's a few good matches of the night. So, yeah, I had a good time. Seats were like kind of in the nosebleeds, but centered to the ring. So we had a great view. The only thing is, and if you've never been to a live WWE show, if you sit on the side where the camera's facing, they try to light up the audience as much as they possibly can because it just looks better on television. But the detriment to this is you have, depending on where you sit, you have a bright light shining in your eyes the entire 3-hour show. And sometimes it sucks. And every time I go to one of these live shows, it always happens to me. I have like a bright light shining in my face, and you're just like, you wish it wasn't there. But that's really the only downfall. Thanks for the question, though. Michael Parton says, looked at the cast list for the new adaptation of Salem's Lot, and they casted Louis Pullman as Ben Mears. Do you think he's too young? I have not seen Salem's Lot in a very long time. I'm trying to think who that character is. It's been, like, I haven't watched that since I probably bought the DVD snap case of it. That's how old of a DVD it was, in, like, 2010. So I'd be hard-pressed to remember who you're referencing. I would like to see the remake, though. Ben Mears. I can't think of which character that is in the movie. I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm sure they'll explain it somehow, some way. Dalton D with a very generous super chat, or a very generous Streamlabs. Thanks, man. Thank you so much. I'll give you another 5 if you pronounce my last name correctly. It's Dalton D. D. Is that correct? My last name correctly. My dirty little lady. Thoughts on Rob Zombie's Halloween remake? I loved it personally. What are we talking about right? Oh, so Rob Zombie's Halloween. Okay, so here's the thing with the Rob Zombie Halloween remake. I hate it. I fucking hate it. I'm sorry. I hate it. Speaking of Rob Zombie, I shared this on Instagram the other day. 3 from Hell, the exclusive Best Buy Steelbook. It's a nice looking steelbook. Not the biggest fan of the movie. I do like some of the character and references. I like the sequel, whatever. But I like some of the lines. But overall, as the movie, it's not one of my favorites. But yeah, it's a nice looking steelbook. So anyway, back to Rob Zombie's Halloween. Here's the thing. They had too much screen time with the little kid in the first act of the movie. And when you watch that little kid with the blonde hair, who just looks soft, like no matter what this kid did in this movie, I was not going to buy it. I'm like, there's no way he's a sociopath serial killer in hiding. Like, and they focused too much on him. So they ruined that illusion. They ruined that illusion of young Michael growing up to be this monster. Because I spent too much time with that little kid in the first act of the movie. And I'm like, I just couldn't buy anything he was doing, and I hated it. And it kind of ruined Michael Myers beyond that. So yeah, I think that was one of the biggest problems with that movie is it didn't sell me immediately. And then when you finally get to Michael Myers being like this 7-foot tall monster, I'm like, well, he's still that little blonde kid under that mask, so that doesn't frighten me at all. So yeah, I was not a fan of the movie. I think stylistically, Rob Zombie, it was kind of an interesting choice stylistically. Like some of the visuals in the movie, I actually thought, for the most part, the second movie, it's way more brutal. And there's some really dumb shit that happens with like a white unicorn and Rob Zombie's wife in the second film. But I think I enjoyed Michael Myers a little bit more in that film because I liked the opening where it took place at the insane asylum. I liked that opening, or the first like act of that film, the sequel from Rob Zombie, way more than the first act of the first one from, what was it, 07. So maybe that's why I almost sort of prefer the sequel, even though it's terrible. Both are terrible. I hate both of the movies. So those are my thoughts. But thanks for the question, man. Thank you. Rich Gallagher says, who would you like to see take up the 007 mantle? I personally would like a reboot set in the 1960s with Tarantino directing and Fassbender as Bond. Now listen, if that happened, I would be content. I would love to see it. Give it to me now. My body is ready. Take me. Take me wherever you want, Quentin Tarantino. Preferably to a dark pawnshop basement with a gimp. But with all that said, I don't think that's overall the right direction to go for the franchise. But, you know, I know Nolan would love to do a James Bond flick. I mean, essentially, he sort of already has with Inception and Tenet in a way. As far as like someone... For many years, there was talk of Tom Hardy playing James Bond. And I think that would be an interesting take. If Tom Hardy promised not to mumble, that would be a great take. Fassbender, I could see as James Bond. Also, Henry Cavill, I could see as James Bond. I think Henry Cavill would be overall like the most believable as James Bond for me, with physicality, acting style, being suave, a ladies' man. I would dig that. So, as far as, and if they put it in the 1960s, I think that would be interesting as well. I mean, definitely, if you know, anything that goes back a few decades, like 1970s, 1980s, James Bond, I think would be really entertaining, because something about like modern day-esque films, I don't know. I kind of would like to live in another decade when it comes to my films. It just takes me somewhere different and makes me forget about the modern day harsh realities that we live in. So, yeah, but that was a great idea. I actually wouldn't mind that. Stephanie Myers says, finally watch Point Break in its entirety. Great movie. Have a great night, John. Well, hey, Yuto, give me two. I'm so hungry I could eat that ass in out of a dead rhino. Gary Busey. I love me some Gary Busey. I follow Gary Busey on Instagram. He's utterly insane. How did you like it? Did you like the movie? I still stand by it being one of the best bank heist movies of all time, especially with the bank robbers being surfers. I mean, how many of those do we have? Not many. But that's a damn good action movie. And Point Break has one of my favorite chase sequences of all time, where Patrick Swayze literally throws a dog at Keanu Reeves. He throws a dog at him. If I haven't sold you on to watch Point Break, nothing I say will. Other than great practical effects, a great dynamic between a good guy and an FBI agent. And the thing is, you know what I most enjoy about Point Break? I like when you can almost agree with the ideology of the villain. That's what I think. That's when I know a movie did a good job. So, all right, let's go to the next one here. And thanks for the question, Stephanie. Night King 01 says, yeah, I enjoyed the hilarious dub of Rumble in the Bronx. And well, hey, Angelo, laugh aloud. Yes, it was redubbed for some reason. Yeah, Rumble in the Bronx has some of the worst audio dubbing of all time, especially the little kid Danny in the wheelchair. My cushion! Like, I love it. Fucking love that. I also like when little Danny is on the bus playing his Sega, what was it, the handheld Sega thing. I had it as a kid. But either way, there's no game cartridge in it. He's just sitting there playing it. So, anyway. Claudia Rogajan says, in the new trailers for Venom, sometimes Bane's voice creeps out of Venom. And it's kind of funny. funny, and apparently the movie is full of comedy. Yeah, I'm sure there's going to be some comedy in Venom. Let there be carnage. And yeah, anytime Tom Hardy starts mumbling, it just sounds like Bane. Like, Gotham? Let me introduce you to my symbiote. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I like Tom Hardy. I don't think he's the greatest casting choice for Eddie Brock. I just don't buy Tom Hardy as like this journalist. Even in the first movie, like when he was doing like investigative journalism, I'm like, this guy doesn't even look like he gives a shit. I'm like, this guy should be a bartender, not a journalist. But either way, I'll see the movie in a few hours. I'll probably do a quick reaction after the movie, and I'll either post that on this channel or the FlickPick channel. Either one. I'll probably do like a quick 5-minute reaction after the movie, and then a full-fledged movie review tomorrow. Demetrius Donata. Thanks for the question, Demetrius. My favorite video, your American Psycho homage in how to watch a movie video. Thank you for that. Thank you. That means a lot, man. A Coke, a popcorn, and some licorice is a must to help the immersion in watching a movie. Much love, John. Well, thank you for that, Demetrius. Yeah, you know, it's funny. I just watched that movie, or I watched that video the other day. It was recommended to me on YouTube. And sometimes I love when YouTube recommends me old videos. I'm like, holy shit, that happened. I forgot. It's like reliving. It's almost like time traveling, except I don't have a DeLorean, though I wish I did. Yeah, that's one of my favorite videos overall. It's like, it's just so... something about that video was paced so perfectly, and it was like the best representation of everything I could do well as a YouTuber put into one video. So I would like to make a part 2 of that. And the opening to that, yeah, I still love the American Psycho parody I did in that. And I do want to make it like another one of those at some point, because I had a great idea. So I do want to make that happen eventually. So thanks, man. Michael Barton says, planning on watching The Many Saints of New York on HBO Max instead of theaters, because I'm seeing Venom on Friday. You know what's funny, man? I forgot that was going to HBO Max. And I'm kind of happy that it is. because I'm seeing Venom in theaters tonight, and I'll be super busy tomorrow. So the soonest I would see the new Sopranos prequel movie would be Friday, but the fact that I can watch it at home comforts me. So yeah, I do want to see that movie. I am looking forward to it. So thank you for reminding me that's going to be on HBO Max. So yeah, I'm definitely going to check it out. I'm excited to see it. I'm a huge Sopranos fan. I love me some Paulie too. Dalton D says, my last name is... Oh shit, alright. Darren Nellis? I'm sorry. Dear Nels, I said it right, Dalton. Even if I didn't, don't correct me. I tried, but thanks, man. Thanks for the question. DJ Run 01 says, did you get any hot wings after the last live stream? If you were in a hot wing eating competition, how many do you think you could eat? There was one time where I ate probably 30 hot wings at an all-you-can-eat hot wing like restaurant, and they just kept serving them and serving them. So I think I ate 30. Now, did I want to vomit? Yes, I did. But were they delicious? Yes, they were. How many do I think I could eat if I was in a hot wing? It depends what the prize is. You got to entice me. I could probably eat 50. I could probably eat 50 hot wings. It depends how big the hot wings are, too. And how hot they are. I could eat 6,000. That's how many I could eat. But yeah, as far as your question goes, no, I did not, because by the time the last live stream was over, it was super late. And nowadays, because we live in a post-pandemic reality, everything closes early, and I hate it. I hate it. Walmart closes early. Do you guys remember how good we used to have it? Do you remember the old days of Walmart being open 24 hours a day, where at 3 o'clock in the morning, if you were feeling a little bit angsty, you could just get in your car, drive to Walmart, and it was like the adult version of Disneyland all night long. You could just wander about in the aisles, just being weird. God, I miss those days. What happened? We live in a different society now, where everything's neutered, dull, and we live in a black and white reality, and I hate every second of it. I hate it. But yeah, but no, I did not get hot wings after the last live show. I wanted them, but I just did not. All right. I just ranted about something. Did I just rant about Walmart? How did that happen? Okay. The Devarious Regent? Am I saying that right? Devorious Regent? You guys know I can't read. I find Clockwork Orange very disturbing. Do you think Clockwork Orange is disturbing? Well, yeah, yes, I do. If you don't think it's disturbing, you shouldn't be around society or small children, please. Yeah, it's definitely gruesome. It's uncomfortable. There's definitely a very unsettling sequence in that film that takes place on a hardwood floor, to say the least. And that's sort of the reason I don't rewatch it that often. Like, I've never been in the urge to, like, go back and revisit that movie. I'm like, oh, let me go watch that today. Oh, and, like, it's just like, I don't know. It just, for me, it's like one of those movies you watch once or twice. But yeah, it's definitely disturbing. Rick LP says, "Pop quiz. Let the games begin up in this motherfucker." Is that from this new Saw movie? I feel like somebody said that. What is that from? Let the games begin up on this motherfucker? Or is that something that Buster Rhymes says in one of the Halloween movies? Trick or treat, motherfucker. I love that scene. Iliaz says, John, have you seen Near Dark? Great 80s vampire movie. I have seen Near Dark, I think maybe once a long time ago. Sort of remember, when it comes to like 80s vampire movies or 80s horror movies, especially like schlocky ones, I always remember Fright Night the best. Like, Fright Night from the 80s is like pure fun, unadulterated 80s cheese. If you haven't seen Fright Night, go watch it. Adrian Lamelli says, just watch Requiem for a Dream, and it was disturbing and crazy. Jared Leto and Jennifer Connelly were great. What are your thoughts on it? I've always really been a big fan of Jennifer Connelly. I think she's great. I wish she was in more films, actually. And plus her sequence in Requiem for a Dream, ass to ass, is still gets me every time. I love it. I've always recommended, if your kids are going to become heroin addicts, show them Requiem for a Dream. They will probably change their minds when they watch Marlon Wayans puking mashed potatoes in prison. That's all I have to say about that. Great movie. Great movie. But another one of those movies, like, you watch once and you probably don't get in the mood to just rewatch it randomly one late night. Like, it's like definitely unsettling. Fire Knight says, finally saw Air Force One a few weeks ago. Now I understand that Simpsons reference when Milhouse has to jump from the sewer. Are you thinking of The Fugitive? Did you mean to say The Fugitive with Harrison Ford in The Fugitive, not Air Force One? Because in The Fugitive is when he jumps out of the sewer to escape. Air Force One is when he plays the president. Unless there was something in Air Force One involving a sewer that I'm forgetting about. But I think you're thinking of The Fugitive. Claudia Rogajon says, I said Venom is full-on comedy, entirely jokes. Oh, so they're just quippy one-liners and puns to instantly take you out of a movie that could be great. Okay, yeah, it already looks sort of like the Odd Couple movie. So, yeah, that sounds terrible. All right, well, good job, Sony. No wonder you gave away Spider-Man to Marvel, because you can't make a fucking movie. All right, let's go to the next one here. Michael Parton says, is it possible they could cast Mila Jonovich in a Marvel or DC film? I don't want that to happen. I like where I thought you were going to go, like, I'd like to see her in a movie, and you're like, no, I don't want that to happen. Maybe. I mean, I had enough Mila Jonovich in the Resident Evil movies. I'm good. I mean, could she play like a supporting character or like a villainous character? I think she'd be okay as like a supporting character, not as like the main villain. I still want Nick Cage to be in like another Marvel film or something, or like why aren't they making a new Ghost Rider movie with Keanu Reeves? Like why is that not happening? Like he was made to do that. All right, let's go to the next one here. The Saint 2332 says, "Have you seen Used Cars, a top comedy of all time?" Is that the one with Tim Robbins and is that Tim Robbins and is Robin Williams in that, or is that just Tim Robbins? Used Car, or is that the Kurt Russell? I'm thinking Kurt Russell maybe. There was another used. Wasn't there another movie? Yeah, Used Cars with okay. With Kurt Russell, yeah. What's the Tim Robbins movie where he's like a robber or something, and I swear Robin Williams is in it too. Cadillac Man. So you understand how I got confused with the connection there. Cadillac Man, Used Cars, it's both cars. What's with all the Cars movies back in the early 80s? What's going on with that? Oh, that was 1990, Cadillac Man. All right. But yeah, as far as Used Cars, I've seen it. I think I've seen it a few times on like HBO back in the 90s. You guys are killing it with the questions. All right. Lone Tiger Films. Hey, John. How are you and what have you been up to? That is my first question. Haha. Today, let's see. Today I had to return some. I bought a green screen off Amazon that was way too big. I was like, I don't need a 9-foot tall green screen, so I returned that. What else did I do today? I had to edit. I had to edit a video, which should be in the next day or two. That's what I did today. I did something else. I don't remember, but yeah, I'm doing well, man. Thanks for asking. Oh, I got a haircut. That's what I got a haircut today. That's what I did. That was the highlight of my day. Mista47 says, Saucer Grill is the place to be. It's the place to live. It's the place to eat. Laughing my ass off. Is it still there, John? Save me a seat. Salsa Grill, if you live in Indiana, or Fort Wayne, Indiana to be precise, if you want a burrito, fuck Chipotle, fuck Qdoba, go to Salsa Grill. Don't say I never gave you anything. Yes, it's still around. I eat there probably once a week. On Mondays, it's half price. I love it. Thanks for the question. Sano says, chances Spider-Man or Morbius cameo in Venom. I don't know. This is just a theory. I don't know. I'm sure you could look it up right now, but I assume that they tie in the Marvel universe somehow, some way at the end of Venom in a post-credit sequence somehow. I'm sure like they reference it or showcase it, and I'm sure Morbius might be referenced in the movie as well. I don't care about Morbius, to be honest with you, but I would assume maybe they do something there, because I have no doubt in my mind that Venom does show up at some point in the upcoming Spider-Man film. Like, I have no doubt in my mind he's at least referenced, so I think that's a possibility. James Doshier says, hey, John, I sent a Streamlab question earlier. Did you get it? James, I think. And let me double check. Sometimes this is a little bit glitchy. James, I did indeed. Hey, John, what are your thoughts on the cast of the animated Super Mario, since everyone on the internet is reacting to it? I talked about this on the last live show. I think if you read this news article on who they cast to be in this movie, it almost sounds like a made-up fan, like, fiction thing that Reddit would post. Like, it doesn't sound real. But the fact that it is real, I think some of the casting choices are good. Anya Taylor-Joy, I think, is a good Princess Peach. Charlie Day as Luigi, I could take her or leave it. Hey guys, I'm Charlie Day, oh my god! Like, he's just gonna do that typical annoying bullshit that he always does. Chris Pratt as Mario, not a bad pick. I think it's a logical choice. Like, he's a popular guy. My only thing is, since they are doing voice acting, and my thing was, I wish this was like motion capture CG, sort of like the Polar Express. I was sort of hoping it would look like that. that was what I would like to see personally. But nevertheless, I'm excited to see a new Super Mario movie. Like, I think that'll be a lot of fun. I love Super Mario World, probably one of my favorite games I've ever played in my life. And every time I go back to play it on my SNES Classic, it just takes me to a happier time. And really, you can beat the game in like 7 minutes if you go to Star World. You can just skip everything, go to Star World, go to Bowser's Castle, go in like door number 3, and it's just like, boom, you're done. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I have a feeling it's going to be a lot like Wreck-It Ralph or something like that. But nevertheless, I'm excited to see it. Where am I at now? Okay. And James, thank you for the question. Dalton D. You got it right, laughing my ass off. Have you seen Lawless with Shia LaBeouf and Tom Hardy? If so, thoughts? Yes, I have. Tom Hardy is the most inaudible he's ever been in that movie. Like, Bane, he made Bane, he made the voice of Bane. How do I say this? Tom Hardy and Lawless. Well, I don't know about that. Actually, you know what? Tom Hardy and I take that back. Tom Hardy and what was the movie of Leonardo DiCaprio? Damn it! What was that movie where they talk about pelts? Why can't I? Where Leo gets eaten by a bear almost. I forget what it's called. But either way, Tom Hardy in that film was the most inaudible he's ever been. Well, go down here some pelts or something. What the fuck are you saying, Tom Hardy? But yeah, in Lawless, it was an okay one-watch movie. It's sort of like it felt like if Netflix made a movie, it would be like a Netflix movie. I don't remember a ton about it, though, to be honest. The Revenant. Yes, The Revenant. Thank you, Darkside Master. Did I just say thank you, Darkside Master? Sounds weird. All right, let's go to the next one here. Max Nugenbauer says, especially in the 90s, Jennifer Connelly was sexy AF. Oh, Jennifer Connelly. I've always had a crush on Jennifer Connelly. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's those thick, dark eyebrows. Couldn't tell you. But nevertheless, there's also another film. I forget what the title is. Like 9 to 5. It's got a title that you can never remember. But it's where Jennifer Connelly and what's his name from 2.5 Men get stuck in a Target store overnight. And something about that always looked really enticing to me, like being stuck in a store all night. Once again, we're going back to Walmart being open 24 hours. But yeah, that was always good. Jennifer Connelly in the Labyrinth. Jennifer Connelly in Blood Diamond was great. So yeah, I wish she was in more movies. Johnny Carr says, just finished watching 2017 Spider-Man 3 editor's cut. Did not make it a better movie. Don't you think they really did Tobey Maguire dirty by all those stupid up-close face shots and dancing on the piano? He had to show his kids that. Career Opportunities. Yes, that's the movie with Jennifer Connelly where they get stuck in a Target. Go watch the movie. Like, no one talks about that movie, but I think you might enjoy it if you like early 90s comedy movies. So yeah, well, Spider-Man 2007 was one of the worst things I've ever seen in a theater. It didn't feel like a Spider-Man movie. It didn't feel like a superhero movie, and it just felt like a big waste of money. Like, it just felt soulless, obligatory. What's the matter? Got dirt in your eye? How about I put some eyeliner on and not hold doors open for people? I'm so edgy. Yeah, I hated it. It was one of the worst theater experiences I've ever had in my life. I remember I sat in a packed theater that was fucking hot. The air was broken. The guy behind me didn't know how to chew with his mouth shut, so I heard this for about 3 hours. And then I had to see Tobey Maguire up there dancing around, and I just hated my life, every second of it. I couldn't believe that this movie was made. So yeah, yes. But I sort of want to do like a review for it when we get closer to the new Spider-Man movie coming out. Maybe I will. Jennifer Connelly was also great in The Hulk, yes. Blood Diamond was a solid performance by her and Leo. Blood Diamond is one of my favorite movies, honestly. It's probably in my top 50, and I can rewatch that movie anytime it's on. I'd love it. No one talks about it, but if you've never seen Blood Diamond with Leonardo DiCaprio, great movie. It's so moving. It's so well shot. I love the journey that they go on through like Africa. I like Leo's South African accent. Yeah, yeah. Terrible impression, but if you haven't seen it, I recommend it. Lone Tiger Film says, thoughts on the movie The Rock. You know, speaking of The Rock, I just watched that like last week, and I stand by this when I say it. The Rock is Michael Bay's best film he's ever made. Everything that Michael Bay does great, he did in that movie. Like, it wasn't too self-indulgent. It was just the right amount of Michael Bay when it needed to be Michael Bay-ish. And plus, Nicolas Cage, you can't go wrong, and Sean Connery teaming up. It was just like the perfect mix for an action film. And the plot was great. I mean, just the premise alone. Ed Harris as the bad guy in the film. The time is 3 o'clock. We're lock, stock, and ready to rock. Yeah, I love that. I love the movie. There's a man out there with his finger on a button. Fucking great. But let's get back to the question. I thought you had a question here. Where am I at? Oh, here it is. I loved everything with Nick Cage and Sean Connery. The chemistry elevated the standard Michael Bay explosions every 2 seconds. Don't get me wrong, I love those, but Michael Bay. Yeah, like I said, everything I just said, I completely agree with you. It was like the perfect blend of like a Michael Bay movie. And then from then on, it felt like and then I was thinking about, doesn't it honestly seem like Con Air? They wanted Michael Bay to direct Con Air, but he's like, nah, I don't have time to do it. So then they hired Simon West, and they're like, make this look like a Michael Bay movie. And he did. Everyone I talk to who's not a movie nerd always thinks Con Air was directed by Michael Bay. When did you go home and fuck the prom queen? Carter Lovejoy says, who's better as Venom, Tom Hardy or Topher Grace? My spider senses are tingling, if you know what I mean. We're going to go with Tom Hardy. But the question is, who could have been the best Venom? That is the question. Who would have made the best Venom? Now, that's the question. I would like to know. I don't know. I don't think I would have cast Tom Hardy as Venom. I really wouldn't. Tom Hardy is like the new incarnation of Wolverine? Absolutely. Tom Hardy is Bane? Sure. But not as Eddie Brock. And definitely not Topher fucking Grace. I'll tell you that. Rick LP says, Gerard Butler, why and how all his movies suck. I like Gerard Butler, but yeah, the guy cannot do an American accent to save his life. Have you ever heard Gerard Butler try to do an American accent? It sounds like he's like gagging on something. Yeah, well, we gotta go over here. Like, he's trying too hard to relax his throat, which is what a lot of foreign actors do to have an American accent, and it just never quite pans out. That's why in that new movie that he did where the comets hit Earth, they were just like, yeah, he's Scottish. He's a Scottish guy. But I don't think all of Gerard Butler's movies suck. He's made a few good movies. Like 300's still great. And then the newest disaster film, whatever the fuck it's called, I forget what it's called. I thought that was an okay movie. He's hit and miss, but he's definitely done a lot of like B-level tier movies. Lone Tiger Films, your hair looks great. Wish I could say the same for myself. Laugh out loud. I've been spending a lot of money on DHT blocker pills and hair thickening shampoo. In your expert opinion, is walking on an incline good exercise for cardio and getting fit? Yeah, sure. I mean, whatever increases your heart rate is good cardio. So if you're doing jumping jacks, push-ups, walking, whatever's increasing your heart rate, it's all the same difference. Now, walking on an incline will probably be more difficult. It'll definitely work out different muscles in your legs. But yeah, absolutely. My advice to you is if you are doing incline, try not to hold or prop yourself up on the treadmill handles because it kind of defeats the purpose of walking on an incline if you're holding on to something just a little bit. Use your core balance and kind of like just really use your entire body strength for that incline rather than holding onto the treadmill. A lot of people make that mistake and it almost defeats the purpose of that extra incline. So yeah, absolutely, man. Anything you can do is good. Just keep the heart rate going. That's cardio. That's all you need. And good luck with the hairline, man. I've had the same hairline for like 10 years. and I have YouTube videos to prove it. So I don't know. Maybe I got another 10 years left before it starts super receding. Either way, I will wear hats at that point. I'll just shave my head and wear a Bane mask the rest of my life. Cobra says, "Are you going to see Many Saints of New York?" Yes, it's on. Someone reminded me it's on HBO Max tomorrow night, Thursday night at midnight or whatever. So yeah, definitely going to check it out. I'm looking forward to it. James Doshier says, "What are your thoughts on the Matrix sequels? I think both of the movies are crap and view the new one coming out as being pointless." Yeah, the new one. I hope they have a reason for making it. I hate the sequels. The new one at least looks more like a film rather than like a digital green CG blob of soullessness and being contrived. But yes, I'm looking forward to the new one. The trailer did not get me that excited as much as I wanted it to be, but I want to see it. I do want to see it. I'm hoping the Wachowskis finally make another good movie because it's been 20 years. So yeah. Stephen Edmondson. I love you, John. Well, I love you too, Stephen. You make my days better. What are your expectations for Thor Love and Thunder? P.S. Back off, War Child. Seriously. My expectations for Love and Thunder, hey, I was a huge fan of Thor Ragnarok. I think it's one of the most rewatchable Marvel films. Just tonally, it's everything I like. It had Jeff Goldblum in it. Yes, please, give me more of that. I'm looking forward to it. The fact that they're going to try to focus on Natalie Portman, like becoming like a godlike figure or something. Like, I don't know about that. Like, I could live without that, but hopefully we Taika Waititi does exactly what he did in Thor Ragnarok, and it's just a good time. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm really excited to see Thor join up with the Guardians of the Galaxy too. So Thomas Film says, only keep 3, Good Time, Uncut Gems, Wolf of Wall Street, or 7. Only keep 3. Definitely keeping Wolf of Wall Street. I'm definitely keeping 7, and I will keep Good Time because I think it's better than Uncut Gems. So, yeah. Claudia Rogajon says, you know something no one's ever pointed out. How does Venom find Mary Jane in Spider-Man 3? He doesn't even know where she is or that she exists. I don't remember Spider-Man 3 because it's probably been 7 years since I actually rewatched it. But I will say, maybe the symbiote knew something that Eddie Brock didn't and translated that message to him, because the symbiote originally did witness Mary Jane at some point in the movie, right? I'm just completely, that could completely be inaccurate. But I'm going to go with that. If I was the screenwriter, that would be my excuse. Or the movie's just a piece of shit. XJ Zana says, I'd be interested in hearing your thoughts on Aardman Animations. They're known for works like Chicken Run, Wallace and Gromit, and Arthur Christmas. What is it? Aardman Animations? I don't. As far as those, are those the stop motion animated movies? I mean, yeah, I know Chicken Run is, right? Yeah, I like the stop go animation style. I like it. I think you can definitely, like, it's a respectable craft that's sort of dying out. I didn't really watch these movies though. The weird thing is a lot of these came out like by the time I was like in my 20s, and I just like I think I was looking at other movies at the time, even though I still like Toy Story and shit. So I like the stop go animation style of these movies, like that they do with, I like James and the Giant Peach or Nightmare Before Christmas. I don't think I've ever sat down and watched Chicken Run though, man. I think someone sent me Chicken Run a long time ago and I had it in my collection for like ever. I never got around to watching it though. Thanks for the question though, man. Screencast says, hey John, I hope you're doing well. I know you're a massive T2 fan like me. If you could make T3, what would you do differently? Or what core elements would you want? Now, the way that T3 ends, where they go down into the bunker and they basically say Judgment Day was always going to happen. It's just we had to survive it. That to me is a great concept. So I think what I would have done is I would have made the first act of the movie basically the ending to T3. So I would have had to open up with John Connor sort of just living life on the outskirts. I definitely would have tried to get Edward Furlong back, or I know he had some kind of issue at the time, but I would have done everything in my power to get Edward Furlong back for that movie. I would have made the first act essentially him just doing odd jobs, trying to get by, and then like halfway through the movie, Judgment Day does happen, where they go down in that bunker, and then we cut to the future, and now it's almost like we have two movies in one. And then from then on, I would go to the aftermath of the apocalypse and how John Connor actually does become that leader of that resistance in the second half of the movie. And then once we get to that pinnacle point where he is the John Connor, the leader of the resistance, and we have like a big action climax sequence, then we end it. The sequel, we start right into the apocalyptic wastelands. Maybe that's what I would do. But that's just my idea off the top of my head. But that sounds good to me. And thanks for the question, Screencast. Thanks, man. Very much appreciated. Claudia Rogajon says, the Mary Jane thing in Spider-Man 3 makes more sense when I found out it was supposed to be Gwen Stacy that he kidnaps because he knows who that is. To be honest with you, I couldn't remember if it was Mary Jane or Gwen Stacy or who the hell was in Spider-Man 3. I don't remember. It all blends together with me. I just remember Topher Grace's eyebrow being pulled back. So I don't care who he kidnapped. I just wish he would have thrown them both off a 50-story building and they plummeted to their death. I think that's how I would have liked to see the movie end. Or maybe I could have jumped off a 50-story building plummeting into my death. Let's go to the next one here. DJ Run 01, you're a beast, John. Do you get hit on at the gym? Usually by older men in the locker room. Usually I go in the sauna and I always notice old men like to talk to me. And that's okay. I like to talk to old men too. But usually when they pull out their old balls, that's when I leave the sauna. So typically it's just by older gentlemen. But hey, flattering nevertheless. Rick LP says, Claudia Rogajov, you said Rogajov. I say Roga. Anyway, Claudio, is he paying all your bills? Claudio likes to ask questions, and I like to answer his questions. Claudio is the sponsor of this stream, and also the other sponsor is Rain. None of that's true. Cobra says, hey, John, how was the WWE event you went to? I talked about that earlier. I said it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. I thought the final match was a lot of My favorite thing about WWE shows is just the spectacle. I like to watch like the entrances, the music, the fog, the explosions. And then I like to pay $11 for a Bud Light. That's my favorite thing. But I will say this is one of the better WWE shows I've been to, because typically there's always like a screaming kid or some guy who smells of like body odor sitting near me. And this one I was pleasantly surprised that it was like so enjoyable to watch. So it was a good time. Film Connoisseur 727 says, hey, John, in the spirit of Halloween, what is your go-to horror movie that you need to watch every year? The original Halloween, and Hocus Pocus, like I mentioned earlier. Those are the two. I have to watch those every Halloween. Those take me to my happy places. Yes. Lone Tiger Film says, what is the purpose of TV backlighting? Isn't it distracting or affect the quality and color of the image of what you're watching? It depends on what kind of TV backlighting you have. Typically for me, I just like the ambiance. So when I have my TV backlighting on, I usually have it to like a slight bluish white. And I make it sort of dim, but it's just dim enough to where like it sort of like relaxes your eyeballs, and you can like the screen isn't so jarring into your eyes when it's dark in your room. For me, I like it. It's sort of relaxing. It's a little more immersive. Some people maybe have it too bright. Plus, it makes the room look cooler and slightly bigger. So I just like the ambiance. Office Spooter, that's a great name. Do you watch Marvel's What If? No, I do not. I have no interest in it. I don't care about what if. I care about what is. Oh, what if Captain America was a lady who was a unicorn who rode a canoe and beat the Red Skull, who also isn't the Red Skull, he's the Purple Skull. What if that happened? Yeah, what if? What if I took this can of rain and smashed it into my head 18 times? I'd probably get a concussion, yes. I mean, but I'm not going to. So what is important. Yeah, I just don't really have interest in it. I don't know. I feel like What If should just be like a YouTube series or something. Josh Coffey says, when is the next podcast episode? I think you guys might have legit 60 questions. Yeah, so the podcast, we're probably, what's today? We're going to record the podcast this weekend, I believe. Odin and I will record it this weekend. And yeah, I saw some of the questions yesterday, and there was already like 30 of them. So we're going to have a shit ton of questions this podcast. But nevertheless, if you guys haven't joined my podcast or listened to it, it's over on Patreon. It's for YouTube members. We do it bi-weekly. We talk about movie topics, updates. We go into deep conversations about life and movies, and we also answer questions. But we don't just quickly go over the questions. We have a conversation about each one typically. So yeah, there's a shit ton of questions for this one. So it's going to be a long podcast episode, but I love the questions, man. They're fun. So yeah, this weekend, look out for the new episode of the podcast. Lone Tiger Films. I want the biggest OLED TV possible, but they're expensive, man. Are sizes over 65-inch overkill? Because I love the concept of a 77 or 80-inch screen for that immersive feel. If you want to get an 80-inch OLED, you might need to be a very rich man. But right now, actually, I think I'm trying to think. I feel like they have something bigger than 65 inches for sure. I think they do have like a 75-inch LG OLED TV, and it's pretty fucking expensive. But if you find a good deal, sometimes you can find the 65-inch OLED from LG for like around, I saw it on Amazon for like around $2,000, which is not a bad deal for an OLED. And also Vizio, I actually mentioned this in the last Flick Trip video for that I just made, that I mentioned earlier. Vizio is coming out with OLED TVs, and they're cheaper. So maybe that could be an option. Look into that. I don't think there's anything such as overkill when it comes to TV size. As long as the picture quality is good, I'd much rather have a larger TV than a smaller one any day of the week. Raspy Shrimp says, have you seen Ozark? It's Breaking Bad, but darker. I don't think Ozark is darker than Breaking Bad. I do not at all. I don't think it's better either, but I think it's similar to Breaking Bad. It's a smart man stuck into a situation where he has to use his wits to get out of, more or less. And I love criminal shows. I liked Ozark. I really did. I'm looking forward to the new season. I think Breaking Bad was the better show, but I really do enjoy Ozark. I think the last season, though, there was like 3 episodes I felt like were just like dragged out with the brother character. I was not a big fan of that, but Crunch Butt Steak, great name. McTurd was the complete wrong choice to direct Terminator Salvation. The guy directed Charlie's Angels prior. Yeah, see, the thing about whatever Mick G or whatever the fuck his name was, Terminator Salvation, I actually did not hate the look of it. He definitely filmed it like a music video, but the trailers for Terminator Salvation looked promising. Now, say what you will about Terminator Salvation. I thought Christian Bale as John Connor was great. This is the Resistance. If you're hearing this, you are failure. So I liked that. Also, but going back to the teaser trailer for Terminator Salvation, it was a great teaser trailer. Go watch it on YouTube sometime. It gets you pumped up to see the movie. And then you see the movie and you're like, yeah. I think the worst thing about Terminator Salvation was Sam Worthington being in the movie. That was miscast. Jay Keyless 121 says, a most anticipated 2022 movie aside from The Batman. What the fuck? I don't even know what's coming out in 2022, man. I don't even trust anything coming out in 2021. Let's see. I know the new Super Mario movie comes out. Let's see. We got a sequel to Black Panther. Aquaman could be interesting. Mission Impossible. You know what? Probably Mission Impossible 7 or The Flash. And the reason I'm going to... Jurassic World... God, there's a lot of good movies coming out in 2022, actually. I might go with, the Flash really looks fascinating. I'll tell you what looks good about the new Flash movie is there's going to be Michael Keaton's Batman will be in the movie. That to me tops everything else. You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. That's why I want to see the new Flash movie the most. So I would say the Flash movie. Claudia Rogajon says, you have enough money to buy a new cushion, John. If you want, I'll come back later and rip it up so you can scream, no, my new cushion. Yes, we are referencing Romo in the Bronx, the small kid named Danny who's in a wheelchair, who sits on a cushion and complains about it the whole movie with terrible audio dubbing. Yes, that's what we are referencing. I do need a new cushion. I would like a new cushion. So, Kyle says, John, you hyped up for the new Jake Gyllenhaal movie, The Guilty, coming out this Friday. Love me some Jake Gyllenhaal. I know this is essentially a remake movie of a movie I've never seen, so I'm looking forward to it. I think Gyllenhaal is a great actor. I'm hoping the movie does something new for me, something promising. I know it's sort of one of those movies that sort of takes place in one location, which is okay. Like, that can be like sort of like reminiscent to like Buried with Ryan Reynolds, except this might be more rewatchable, but nevertheless, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm definitely gonna check it out. If I have something unique to say about it, I probably will make some kind of video or review, or maybe like a quick reaction to the movie. Dan5271 says, John, hi, sup, you badass, how are you? Well, damn, thank you for the question, man. Always so generous. I'm doing good, man. I'm just getting hyped up, getting ready, feeling a little magical and mystical for Venom Let There Be Carnage. It starts in about an hour and 40 minutes, so I got to wrap this up here soon, but I got to, yeah, that's what I'm doing tonight. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling angsty. I need more caffeine because I'll be up till 3 o'clock in the morning, but yeah, I'm feeling good. How are you doing, man? All right, guys, and hey, Amory M, how's it going? Are you excited for the new movie? Definitely will watch it this weekend. Oh, you're excited for the movie? I don't know if you're talking to me or not. What are your thoughts on Red Letter Media from Dustin? Red Letter Media is great. I've always been a huge fan of their YouTube channel since like 2010. What they do is sort of having a conversation back and forth about movies and like implementing skits and gags and sort of having a shtick. I love that. Like that's more or less what I would like sort of to do on YouTube, but no, they're great. John Flickinger, favorite beer. My favorite beer, not a big beer guy, more of like a Jack and Coke kind of guy. Probably like, I like Blue Moon. It's smoothing. It's tasty, you know? All right. All right, guys. I'm probably going to wrap this up in just one more minute. So Raspy Shrimp says, hey, I heard you did some wonderful impressions of me. Oh, no. Raspy Shrimp says Drive 2 or American Psycho 2 with Christian Bale. Oh, so I definitely go with an American Psycho 2 with Christian Bale. Hell yeah, dude. Yes, any day. Give me American Psycho, but catch up with Patrick Bateman like either in the 90s or like the 2000s. I think that would be really interesting. That's what I would love to see. You just said something I wish that was real. Like now when I close my eyes at night, that's what I'm going to hope to see one day. So yeah, I'd definitely go with that. John Campia. Okay. Hey, I heard you did some wonderful impressions of me. And for our next main topic, well, let me think about this. Now, this just came to me. So first of all, I first want to say this before I say something else. First, I want to say this, and then I want to say that, and then I want to say something else. But listen here. Yeah, thank you. Yes, it's not real John Campia, but nevertheless, I always like to do a shitty John Campia impression. Claudio says they already did an American Psycho 2. That doesn't exist. When you close your eyes, you erase that from your memory. That does not exist. Get rid of it. Eradicate it from the history books. It never happened. MKF30 says, I'm sorry if I'm late tonight. Glad I could say hi. Which are you excited for, Halloween Kills or the Chucky series? Probably Halloween Kills. I don't know if I need a Chucky series. That's just me. I don't really need a Chucky series. It's not something I've craved ever in my life. Okay, I'm going to make this the last question here. Claudia Rogajon says, they already did American Psycho 2. Yeah, I know. I know they did. I know that. I just don't want anyone else who doesn't know that to know that, because I'm trying to save your lives. Have you heard the theory that Snowpiercer is a sequel to Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory? I feel like I have, but that sounds like a reach, to say the least. In one way or another, we sort of live in a reality like Snowpiercer. We're not on a train, but think about it. Think about it. That was a spot-on impression of John Campea. Well, thank you. I try my best. John, have you ever been late to a movie theater? Also, it's my birthday. Well, happy birthday, Darkside Massacre. Have I ever been late? Yeah, there's been so many movies I've been late to. That maybe a few minutes. If I'm more than 10 minutes late, I just go to the next showtime. Or after the movie, I'll go into the next showtime and watch the first 10 minutes of the movie. Sometimes that's happened. But as always, guys, I'm going to wrap it up there. Thank you guys so much for the questions, the comments, hanging out. Fake John Cambia says, oh, we already answered that. Okay. Yeah, Mila Kunis was in American Psycho 2. We don't talk about that here. We do not talk about American Psycho 2. Not here, not now, not ever. Okay? That's blasphemy. Okay? That's the most derogatory mark you could ever say on this channel. Never say the words American Psycho 2. Not here, not ever. Okay? That's all I'm saying. All right? Okay. All right, guys. I'm going to wrap it up here. As always, thank you guys for hanging out. The questions, just looking at my stupid face for a couple hours as I talk about movies. Always fun. I'm going to go see Venom 2 in like an hour and a half. So look out tomorrow for a brand new movie review of Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage. And also probably late tonight, there'll be a first reaction to the movie after the movie at some point. So yeah, take care, guys. I'll see you next time. Stay safe. And thanks for hanging out. Take care. Bye.